My name is Omattie, and I am from ChildLinK Inc. in Guyana. The program in Guyana works with children, their families, and other civil society organizations and government to promote the protection of children, to strengthen social protection services, and to advocate for the well-being and development of children. Being a member of the steering committee of Families for Every Child really influence how we work on the local level. It is very useful for the organization to recognize its contribution on a global level towards the protection of children, and particularly giving children a voice in global activities. One of the ways in which we were able to do that was to participate in the MDG consultations with children. We have had the opportunity to do that as the country that first started the consultations, and it really gave us an opportunity to listen to children who are most vulnerable. We were able to talk to children who are living in residential care, children who are living in foster families, and children who are living with extended family members. And the information that the children share and their experiences that they spoke about really created a greater understanding of not just their physical situation, but the emotions and the hurt that they have gone through, and the need for deeper interventions and to work more comprehensively with local authorities, people who have responsibility, duty bearers such as government, but more specifically to look at global frameworks that has been established for the well-being of children, particularly children who are growing up without parental care. And some of these frameworks would be, of course, the UNCRC and the Alternative Care Guidelines. We've had the opportunity to participate in consultations to validate the guidelines for Latin America, and clearly it outlined the in the guidelines the strengthening of families, the strengthening of social protection officers, social protection services, the role of parents, the role of children in the whole process of giving children the best possible opportunities, safe opportunities, and supporting their development in safe families. And that consultation has led us to develop another piece of work where we're going to now be working very closely with our government services to strengthen the capacity of social protection officers and parents and children to understand the guidelines and what it set out to have, particularly social protection officers, to have greater capacity to work with vulnerable population, children who are coming into state care. What should be the priorities for those children, and how those children issues should be addressed, and how to have a much bigger network locally with other civil society entities to ensure that children are getting the service that they really require. It's really important for us as a local organization to be included in an international alliance. We are certainly looking forward to becoming a member of this global alliance for many reasons. Of course, it gives us an opportunity to see how we are contributing regionally, nationally, globally to changing children's lives, influencing the positive outcomes for children. But as an agency, it gives us an opportunity to examine our own standards, our operating practices and procedures, how we strengthen children's voices and their involvement in our work generally. Family for Every Child has has provided a very strong framework for ChildLinK, looking at ethical fundraising policies, project designs, effective programs, and piloting with us what some of those guidelines could really be. So it's not a scenario where Families for Every Child as an alliance has said, well, these are our policies and these are our practices, and if you're going to come on board, this is what you abide by. ChildLinK has had the opportunity in many instances to participate in task force meetings that discuss these policies, that influence what is contained, what are the contents of these policies, and we are influencing the standards that are set for members of the alliance, and therefore we are one of the agencies are one of the NGO that are going to be piloting the standards and working towards an agreed set of standards for all the members of the alliance. And so it clearly outlined for us as an agency that it's not a network that imposes its policies and framework, but give us the opportunity as a member to be included in how those frameworks are being implemented, what are the contents, and how they're developed.